Welcome to a play-by-play review. I'm your host, Henry, and just a quick thing about Saturday's episode that did not happen, about the Mall Shadow Lord thing. That was the plan. I kind of just forgot, not gonna lie. I was just busy doing other stuff, both in terms of my channel and, podcasts and all that. Well, I guess not actually the podcast because I've been doing, but, like doing some YouTube stuff and also just doing stuff on my own for fun. And I was like 2 a.m. on Saturday and I was like getting ready to go to bed and I was like, oh wait, I should have recorded today. Whoops. So, sorry about that. So I'll try and get one out this weekend, to, to make up for it. But yeah, that will probably also be on Mall Shadow Lord unless something else comes up. But yeah, my apologies there. For today, though, is obviously baseball. We got another week of games to cover. And as always, I will try and get through this very, very quickly, since I do want to get doing other stuff. I'm procrastinating on my weekly Warships episode, so it's going to go up a little bit later than usual tomorrow, since I'm a very, very bad procrastinator. In the sense I'm really good at procrastinating and doing stuff at the last minute. I was really good at that in school and in college, but that's not a good thing. It's really not, and it's kind of put a hamper on some of my YouTube videos that I have been trying to edit and not gotten around to because I procrastinate too much, and that's something I got to work on. But anyway, that is for another time and another discussion entirely. For now, though, baseball. So we'll go back to May the 6th, which was, last Wednesday. I guess now it is technically Wednesday when I'm recording this, but, it's the May the 6th games. And we'll start with the Orioles and Marlins. This should have been the second of a 3-game series between these two teams, with the Orioles winning this one 7-4. Pete Alonso had a nice 3-run home run here. Rico Garcia got his second save of the season as well. Rico Garcia has turned into the best reliever in baseball, which has been very nice to see. One of the few consistent bright spots on the Orioles. And the Orioles would actually take that series in 2. It's pretty nice. It was a good bounce back after the disaster that was the Yankees series over that previous weekend. So the Red Sox Tigers, they would play in the third of 3, with the Red Sox actually sweeping the series against the Tigers, winning 4-0 there. Sonny Gray had a really good start. Jack Flaherty did not. He's 0-3 right now with the Tigers. He's really bad season for him at the moment. But the Red Sox, 16-21 at that point. Better after the really bad stretch that led to Alex Cora getting fired. So it's been, still hasn't been great for them at all, but it's been slightly better as of late. The Rays and the Blue Jays would play with Shane McClanahan getting another win. He's been playing really well in the past couple past couple starts. It's been just barely months, plural, for the baseball season. But yeah, this was a sweep of the series for the Rays, who are, again, playing really good baseball. To continue what was going on last week, they are still, I don't know if it's sustainable with how they're playing, but it's kind of crazy. So they've won, one of their last, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 games. Of their last 18 games, they have won 16 of them. So that is why they're 28-13 right now and the best team in the American League. It's because they're just winning games. And it's kind of crazy, not gonna lie. I know the American League is pretty not good right now, but that is an insane stretch for Tampa Bay. Meanwhile, the Brewers would win 6-2 over the Cardinals. This is Aaron Ashby, I think is his first name. Aaron Ashby is 6-0 on the season as a starting pitcher, 2.35 ERA. So that's pretty good right there. This was the Brewers winning game 2 of what was supposed to be a 3-game series, though the middle of the 3 got postponed. So it was really a 2-game series, and the teams would split that one there. So the Brewers catching back up in the standings with their fellow NL Central compatriots. The Dodgers would absolutely destroy the Astros, taking the series, winning the first and third there. Andy Pages had 3 home runs in this game. The third one came off of a position player. I remember that. But he had, I think, 21 points for me in fantasy, so that was pretty nice. Not going to lie, that was pretty good. And yeah, this was total domination by the Dodgers there. Lance McCullers got hit with his 3rd loss on the season. His ERA is 7.41. That is not good. Of course, he had to pitch well against the Orioles, but oh well. So the Padres would win 5-1 over their division rival Giants. Ty France had a 2-run triple in this game, according to the ESPN little recap blurb there. So that was the Padres taking that series, winning the 2nd and 3rd games there. To try and not necessarily keep pace, but keep pace with the Dodgers. They were at that point they were one or more of a half game back. They were 22-14. The Dodgers were 23-14. So I think standing wise that is a half game back. So I have very much trying to keep pace with the Dodgers there. Meanwhile, the Angels would win 8-2 over the White Sox in a pretty fun series. Felt like as the Angels would take that series, even though they've been really struggling, they would win that one there. I mean, it's the White Sox, so it is what it is. But they had been on a really bad stretch coming into that series. So they turned it around slightly, though they've only won 1 of their last 5 since then. Let's see. Are they still playing right now? I think they... no, they're not. They lost today. Never mind. The Mariners would win 3-1 over the Braves. Brian Wu had 9 strikeouts and 6 scoreless innings. So the nice bit of work there for the Mariners to actually take a series over the Braves, who at that point were the best team in baseball. I think now actually I don't know if the Rays have. I think the Rays are like 1 game back from the Braves in terms of top of the standings, but standings wise, the Braves are still up there for the best of the best in baseball at the moment. The Phillies, meanwhile, would win 6-3 over the Athletics, with the Phillies winning the first 2 games of that series, 3 games in that series. Edmundo Sosa had a go-ahead 2-run single in the 8th inning, according to the ESPN little recap thing. And again, I might not go into specifics of all these games just because I want to try and get this done a little bit faster than normal, just because I want to go to bed kind of soon. So sorry about that. But, I mean, I feel like this week was just it was fine. There were definitely some good games here and there, though. The Nationals will win 15-2 over the Twins, meanwhile. C.J. Abrams had a grand slam, 5 total RBIs. And this was Nationals getting a win back in that 3-game series. So they were 1-1 at that point between those 2 teams. Those 2, basically red, white, and blue teams. Though the Twins are more just red and blue. Nats are... Anyway, it's similarly colored scheme-wise teams. Also similar records. Nats were 17-20, Twins 16-21 at that point. So just random observations from a half awake me at 12:15 in the morning on a Wednesday. So that's what you get when you come here. Anyway, the Rangers would win 6-1 over the Yankees. Will Warren got hit with his first loss of the season. He actually just picked up another win today against the Orioles, unfortunately. So the Rangers would tie that series up at 1 apiece there against the Yankees. Nathan Eovaldi got his 4th win. Interesting that Will Warren is 4-1, Nathan Eovaldi 4-4. So there's a lot more non-decisions for Will Warren compared to Eovaldi there. But yeah, Yankees 1 run on 3 hits. So it's like there's random stretches where the Yankees offense just goes completely flat. This is one of those games. The Cubs, meanwhile, would win over their division rival Reds 7-6. This was in the stretch, I believe. This was the 3rd walk-off in a row that the Cubs had over the Reds. This was Pete Crow Armstrong tied it up in the bottom of the 9th with a 2-run home run, and then Michael Busch won on a walk-off single, I believe is what it was. Taking three with the Cubs taking 3 in a row over the Reds. The Reds at this point were off on a really rough skid. They had lost 8 in a row after the end of that losing streak. That would actually happen a couple of games after that. But yeah, really rough losing streak for the Reds as the Cubs just found ways to win. They're also one of the best teams in baseball at the moment, are the Chicago Cubs, though they've lost 3 in a row actually after winning. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they won 10 in a row, but they've lost 3 straight after that. So interesting there. Meanwhile, the Guardians would win 3-1 over the Royals, only giving up 4 hits in 1 run. Did the Guardians? So they're having a decent stretch at the moment. They lost the first 2 games in that series against Kansas City, but they won that one there, and still they're one of the few teams that are positive record-wise in the American League. So that's something right there. The Mets, meanwhile, would win 10-5 over the Rockies. Marcus Semien and Juan Soto both had homers there. What did I just click? Okay, there we go. Michael Lorenzen got hit with a loss there. Devin Williams got his 5th save. This was game 2 of 3 between these 2 teams, with the Mets taking the first 2 against the Rockies there. The Pirates, meanwhile, would win 1-0 over the Diamondbacks. Paul Skeens, 8 innings, 2 hits. Gregory Soto got the save. So Paul Skeens, after not necessarily I wouldn't really say a rough start to the season, but a start that wasn't quite up to probably the standards he wanted to set. He's been on an absolute tear as of late. I don't know why I use that phrase so much, on an absolute tear, but I mean, Paul Skeens has been incredible recently. He had another, honestly, even better start, it felt like today. Well, this Tuesday, essentially. It was real good. He's put up 60-something points, 65 points over his last 2 starts fantasy-wise. It's been real good. Also in that series, that was the Pirates getting a game back in game 2 after losing the first one against Arizona. So the Marlins on Thursday would win 4-3 over the Orioles, winning on a walk-off error thrown by Kobe Mayo. Unfortunately, that was a rough one to watch. Yeah. Both teams would come out of series 17-21, but the Orioles actually did win the series, which I was happy about. The Rays, meanwhile, would win 8-4 over the Red Sox. Chandler Simpson and is that Jose Caballero? Well, I know it's Jose Caballero. Junior Caballero. Yeah, I knew it wasn't Jose. Junior Caballero, they both played well. And this was the start of a series actually between these 2 division rivals, with Tampa taking that first one there. The Yankees, meanwhile, would take the series over Texas. Oops, clicked the wrong thing. Mackenzie Gore got his 3rd loss of the season. Yankees won that one 9-2, so they would take 2 of 3 against the Rangers. The Nationals would win 7-5 over the Twins. With the Nationals also taking that series, winning the 2nd and 3rd games there. K-Bear Ruiz had a home run and 2 doubles in that game to really help out the Nationals with that one. So after that, the Guardians would win 8-5 over the Royals. Bo Naylor with a 3-run home run. Seth Lugo got his 2nd loss of the season. What is your first name again? I always forget. Cade Smith, the Guardians closer, got his 10th save of the season as well. So those AL Central teams would split that 4-game series 2 apiece. With the Guardians moving up to positive numbers. They were at that point were 20-19 after that game. The Cubs, meanwhile, would sweep the Reds in 4, winning 8-3 in this one. Michael Conforto, 3-for-3 with a homer. Shota Imanaga got his 4th win of the season. So the Reds' fall continued at that point. They were 20-18. Cubs 26-12 after that one. The Rockies would win 6-2 over the Mets to avoid the 3-game sweep. Craig Kimbrell was actually hit with a loss there. This was, I think this was a grand slam in, was it the bottom of the ninth? Might have been the bottom of the ninth. No, bottom of the eighth, not the ninth. So yeah, Craig Kimbrell gave up a grand slam in the bottom of the eighth to the Rockies. So he is not having a great time there. He's 0-2, 7.56 ERA for, I mean, probably going to get into the Hall of Fame, I'd assume, is Kimbrell. It's just the last couple of years, really, last 2 to 3 years of his career have not exactly been stellar. The Pirates, meanwhile, would win 4-2 over the Diamondbacks. Brandon Lau, 3 hits in the game, including a home run. Mitch Keller got his 4th win of the season. Zach Gallen his 3rd loss of the season. Gregory Soto his 3rd save. Surprised Soto doesn't have more saves because he's the closer there, but it is what it is. So the Pirates would take the final 2 games of that 3-game series against the Diamondbacks, who fell to 17-19 after a pretty decent start to the season. They've fallen down a good bit. Pirates still at that point 21-17, so they're pretty good. The A's, meanwhile, would win 12-1 over the Phillies. Andrew Painter had a really bad start here. JT Ginn, 8 innings of work. A's had 4 total home runs in this game. They would lose the series, but win that 3rd one there. Rolling with a bit of momentum going into Baltimore after that. They were also 19-18 at that point, so one of the few American League teams above 500 as well. The Cardinals, meanwhile, would win 2-1 over the Padres. Jordan Walker with the go-ahead RBI double. And then there was save number 11 for Riley O'Brien in that game to start off that 4-game series against the Padres between the Padres and the Cardinals. We move on to Friday with the start of a new series for a couple teams, including the Orioles, who would start 3-game series against the Athletics. This is a game I streamed. Shout out Kevin Wilson, the commenter who was with me for most of that game. It was very fun to talk to with him. So the A's would win this one 4-3. Kyle Bradish really had one rough inning where he got hit with a couple runs that really should have been unearned runs, not earned runs. So he honestly pitched really well. It was rough there. The Orioles defense let him down, and the offense also didn't play well. They had 3 runs on 4 hits. Almost came back in the end, but didn't quite have it. Nick Kurtz had a 2-run triple in this game that gave the Athletics a good lead. It was a little unfortunate for the Orioles there. There's a really frustrating team this season are the Orioles. The Red Sox would win 2-0 over the Rays, giving the Rays one of those 2 losses in their big stretch of 18 games, pretty much. In game 2 of the 3-game series, with Aroldis Chapman getting his 8th save of the season. Connolly early, also with his 3rd win of the season. The Astros would shut out the Reds, winning 10-0 in the start of that series there. Nick Lodolo, in his first start of the season after coming off the injured list, did not have a good start, obviously. He has a 6.75 ERA in his 1 loss. It was it's not good for the Reds there. Not good at all. Meanwhile, the Rockies would win 9-7 over the Phillies. Go ahead double in the 11th inning for Troy Johnston got the Rockies the win there. So they would start out the series against Philly. Both teams pretty similar records. The Blue Jays, meanwhile, would win 2-0 over the Angels. Dylan Cease had a really good start here. 10 strikeouts, obviously giving up no runs. Blue Jays on a bit of a skid coming into this game, but won there. And just not a great series overall for the Blue Jays, but they would win this one. Angels, even worse series, honestly. I think is that Reed Detmers? Is that your first name? Yeah, Reed Detmers got hit with a loss there for Anaheim, because I'm going to call them the Anaheim Angels, just to spite Artie Moreno. The Nationals, meanwhile, would win 3-2 over their division rival Marlins. This is, what is your first name? Foster Griffin had 9 strikeouts in this game to help the Nationals win here in the start of a 3-game series between these two teams. The Guardians, meanwhile, would win 6-4 over their division rival Minnesota to start out a 3-game series there. Parker Messick got his 4th win of the season. Cade Smith, his 11th save. So interesting. Twins, 4 runs on 13 hits. So that was a rough one there for them. That's gotta sting. Feels like the Orioles some days, if I'm being honest. The Royals, meanwhile, would win 4-3 over the Tigers, who are I feel like they're having a bit of a rough stretch as of late. Yeah, they definitely are having a bit of a rough stretch as of late. So yeah, Lucas Urseg got his 3rd win of the season. Kyle Isbell had a walk-off single in this one for the Royals. Both teams at that point were 18-21. The Brewers, meanwhile, would win 6-0 over the Yankees. This was a Jacob Mizorowski start, and he, I think his first pitch of the game was 103 miles per hour in his fastballs. Like, he was breaking records for the fastest pitches thrown by a starting pitcher, and he was basically just resetting the record over and over and over again this game. It was ridiculous. In this game, he had 11 strikeouts, 3 hits given up by the Brewers this whole game. Yankees did not score a run. It was crazy. Max Fried got his 2nd loss of the season, so I was very happy to watch this or watch the box score. I didn't actually watch the game, but yeah, as a certified Yankees hater, this was very fun to watch. Meanwhile, the Mariners would win 12-8 over the White Sox. Luke Raley had a grand slam and a 3-run home run. So 7 RBIs on 2 hits for him in a just complete shootout of a game to start a 3-game series between those two teams. The Cubs, meanwhile, would win 7-1 over the Rangers. Javier Assad got his 3rd win of the season. Ian Happ has a 29 on-base streak after this game. That is impressive right there. But yeah, the Rangers not having a great season to start. Lose the first one against Chicago there. Meanwhile, the Mets would win 3-1 over the Diamondbacks. Devin Williams actually got a win here. This was an extra innings win in the 10th. Mark Vientos with the go-ahead double there for the Mets in the start of that series between those two down on their luck National League teams. The Cardinals, meanwhile, would win 6-0 over the Padres. J.J. Weatherholt had a Little League grand slam in this game. I think it was Fernando Tatis who was in the outfield, had a ball rolling towards him with the bases loaded, and the ball just went under his glove, so Weatherholt was able to get all the way around. And this was the Cardinals taking their first 2 against the Padres in that 4-game series. Padres only had 1 hit in this game, so that was pretty rough right there. The winning pitcher was Michael McGreevy, who obviously, pretty good. Pretty good pitching performance right there for McGreevy. The Dodgers, meanwhile, in a supercharged series against the Braves, would take game 1. Freddie Freeman getting the best of his old team with a home run. Chris Sale got a hit with his 2nd loss. Tanner Scott his 3rd save between these two. So 1 run on 9 hits. Jeez, for the Braves in that one. Then finally, the Giants would win 5-2 over the Pirates. Rafael Devers had a home run in this game. Robbie Ray got his 3rd win of the season to start out a series between those two teams. Next up, we go to Saturday. With the A's taking 2 in a row against the Orioles, winning 6-2 here. Brent Rooker had a 3-run home run. Shane Baz had a not great start in this one. He's not having a good start to his Orioles tenure either. He's 1-4, 5.48 ERA. Aaron Civale got the win. It was really frustrating this because the Orioles had bases loaded, nobody out at one point, and could not convert a single run. They actually had the same thing happen today. Bases loaded, no outs, and couldn't convert a run. So that's been really fun to watch. The Rays and the Red Sox, so I guess they were supposed to play a 4-game series, but this one got postponed to July 17th. So that they would wind up just playing a 3-game series. instead, with the third one being Sunday. The Blue Jays, meanwhile, would win 14-1 over the Angels. So they've rebounded to form there. Brandon Valenzuela, who I think is the catcher for the Blue Jays with Alejandro Kirk on the injured list. Valenzuela had 3 home runs in this game. Ernie Clement also had a homer as well. Angels did have 10 hits, surprisingly enough, but only 1 run. Blue Jays had 20 hits and 14 runs. The Reds, meanwhile, would win 3-1 over the Astros, finally ending that really long losing streak. With a good Chase Burns start, he got his 4th win of the season. 6 hits, 1 run. 6 innings, 1 run is what he did. The Marlins, meanwhile, would win 8-7 over the Nationals. Jacob Marcy had a 3-run home run for the Marlins, who I believe have also just recently DFA'd Chris Paddock from their team. So the Marlins would get the win back over the Nationals there. The Phillies would also get a win back over the Rockies, winning 9-3 here. Alec Boehm with 2 home runs in this game and a double. So that was a pretty good night there for Boehm, who was dealing with strange case with his parents where his parents were stealing from him. That was really weird. Meanwhile, the Twins would win 2-1 over the Guardians in the 11th inning with a Byron Buxton game-winning double for Minnesota. They would win one back over Cleveland there. The Rangers, meanwhile, would put an end to the Cubs' winning streak, winning 6-0 and evening up that series there. Cubs had 5 hits, no runs. Josh Young and Justin Foscue both with homers for Texas. So the Cubs winning streak ends at 10 there. Meanwhile, next up, the Tigers and the Royals. Don't know why I emphasized the Tigers first when they lost. The Tigers would lose to the Royals 5-1. Michael Wacha got his 4th win of the season. 7 scoreless innings there for Michael Wacha. Bobby Witt Jr. Inside the park home run, actually. I didn't realize that. So that's a couple inside the park home runs, technically, over the past couple of days. Really just this past week. So the Royals would win the first 2 against Detroit there to usurp them in the standings in the AL Central. The Brewers, meanwhile, would win 4-3 over the Yankees in the 10th inning. Aaron Ashby with his 7th win of the season. He's 7-0 for Milwaukee. William Contreras had the game-tying single in the 8th and the game-ending RBI. I don't think it was a home run because they did have a game-ending sac fly. They would walk him off the next day. Meanwhile, the White Sox would win 6-1 over the Mariners. Miguel Vargas, 2 home runs in that game. Luis Castillo got his 4th loss of the season for Seattle. He's 0-4 on the season with a 6.57 ERA, which is, I feel like I remember him being a lot better than that. But I could be wrong, but I feel like I remember him being significantly better. Luis Castillo. I want to see, let's see, quick side tangent. Let's see. Yeah, he was 11-8, 11-12, 14-9 over from 2025 to 2023. So yeah, much better pitcher than that, it feels like. Anyway, sorry, it's slight side tangent. The Diamondbacks would win 2-1 over the Mets. Merrill Kelly with a really nice start. Clay Holmes got hit with a loss, but even then only gave up 2 runs, I think. So it's not like it was, the biggest, blow up game in the world. It's just the Mets offense couldn't do much that game. Paul Sewald with another save for the D-backs, who would take a game back in that series there. The Padres, meanwhile, would win 4-2 over the Cardinals. Manny Machado with his 200th career home run as a Padre, 375th overall. Mason Miller with his 12th save of the season. Randy Vasquez, because your first name's Randy, right? Randy Vasquez with his 4th win of the season. Dustin May's 4th loss. These 3 wins. There for St. Louis. Both teams 23-16 after that game. The Pirates, meanwhile, would win 13-3 over the Giants with 20 hits. Landon Rupp with his 3rd loss on the season. Brandon, your first name's Brandon, right? Braxton Ashcraft with his 2nd win. So that was pretty good there for the Pirates. Nick Gonzalez and Joey Bart both with 4 hits. Brandon Lau 4 RBIs. Finally, for Saturday, the Braves would win 7-2 over the Dodgers. Spencer Strider got his first win of the season. I think this is also his first start of the season. This is also the first start for Blake Snell, who has a 12 ERA flat. Does have 5 strikeouts, but also not a good start to the season. 3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts in his return to action here. Let's see. Let me check and make sure. No, this is Strider's 2nd start of the season, his 1st win of the season, but he's the Braves actually won his both of his starts. They're won both the games he started in, essentially. So we move on to Sunday and the conclusion to a lot of these series. The Orioles would win 2-1 over the Athletics on Sunday. Fun fact, I was actually at this game with my mom for Mother's Day. This is a good pitching matchup. Chris Bassett had a really good start. Gave up 1 run that was kind of costed on error on himself. Keegan Aiken was the opener in this game. Rico Garcia got his 3rd save of the season. Anthony Nunez also pitched. They had 4 hits given up for the team the Athletics only had 4 hits, only the 1 run. O's only had 2 runs. Dylan Beavers with the game-winning RBI. But it was fun to watch. Another fun fact: I was playing Pokemon Go while I was at the stadium because there's a lot of stuff there. And right before the game started, I managed to catch I caught 2 Nihilegos since they were a raid enemy on the multiple gyms that were around there. But I actually managed to. The first one I caught was actually shiny, so I'm going to brag that I caught a shiny Nihilego in Pokemon Go. Actually, my 2nd shiny, legendary, ultra beast, mythical, whatever, like that sort of category. I know that Pokemon classifies ultra beasts as slightly different from legendaries, but I also have a shiny Genesect, so I'm gonna flex that right there. For someone who plays Pokemon Go a good bit, but I've only gotten back into it over the past couple of years, so yeah, I'm gonna flex that. So that was really cool. I mean, when I saw the shiny happen, I was like, holy fucking shit. Sorry for cursing, but that was my reaction. Shiny in a Lego. It was crazy. Anyway, the Rays would win 4-1 over the Red Sox, taking what was supposed to be a 4-game series, winning 2 of the 3 there. Junior Caminero with a solo home run. Peyton Toll got his 2nd loss of the season. Brian Baker his 10th save on the season for Tampa Bay. The Marlins, meanwhile, would win 5-2 over the Nationals. Christopher Morel with the go-ahead single for the Marlins, which would propel them to a victory there. So they would take that series, winning the 2nd and 3rd games there. The Phillies, meanwhile, would shut out the Marlins here. Kyle Schwarber with 2 home runs. Christopher Sanchez got another win. Tomoyuki Sagano his 3rd loss on the season. So the Phillies would take that one, winning the 2nd and 3rd games there as well. And crawling back to 19-22 at that point, have the Rockies fall to 16-25. The Angels, meanwhile, would avoid getting swept by the Blue Jays, winning 6-1 there. Joe Adell with 2 home runs in the game. Jose Soriano bounced back after the 2 losses against the White Sox. He would pitch a really good one here. Eric Lauer got his 5th loss of the season for the Blue Jays, and he's also since been DFA'd. The Reds, meanwhile, would win 5-0 over the Astros. So they brought a couple back after their big old losing streak. Andrew Abbott with his second win of the season. 3 hits, no runs in 6 innings. Ellie De La Cruz and Spencer Steer also had good games for the Reds there. The Twins, meanwhile, would win 5-4 over the Guardians. Let me see. Was this extras? No, it was not. But yeah, the Twins would actually, put up a couple wins over Cleveland there. Their Twins are slowly crawling back into close-ish to 500. They're a couple games back. But they would take that series over the division rival there, which is, they've certainly got to like that. The Brewers, meanwhile, would sweep the Yankees at home with a Bryce Terang walk-off home run over David Bednar in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs as well to sweep the Yankees in 3 games. So that was really awesome to see. Brewers at that point were 22-16, Yankees 26-15, though the Yankees have struggled overall against teams against 500. They've had a bit of a soft schedule start, essentially, have the Yankees. Meanwhile, the White Sox would win 2-1 over the Mariners, taking that series against Seattle there, winning the second and third ones. Sir Anthony Dominguez with his 9th save as a Chicago White Sox. The Rangers, meanwhile, would actually take the series over the Cubs, winning 3-0 here. They shut out the Cubs in both games 2 and 3. Jacob deGrom with 10 strikeouts in that game and 1,900 total strikeouts in his career. Jameson Taillon got hit with a loss there. So that was good work there for Texas. The Giants, meanwhile, would win 7-6 over the Pirates in 12 innings with Jesus Rodriguez netting the game RBI single. And so the Giants would take that series over the Pirates, winning the first and third games there. The Braves, meanwhile, would take the series over the Dodgers, winning 7-2 in Game 3. So they would win Games 2 and 3 there. Bryce Elder with a really good start. 1 hit in 5 2/3. Scoreless, obviously, for him. First loss on the season for Justin Robleski. He's 5-1. Mauricio Dubon, 3-run, was it homer? 3-run double, never mind, for Atlanta. Next up, the D-backs would win 5-1 over the Mets. Eduardo Rodriguez got his 4th win of the season. He's having a nice start to 2026. D-backs would win that series over the Mets there. They advanced to 19-20. Mets fall to 15-25. The Padres, meanwhile, would win 3-2 over the Cardinals. Nick Castellanos with the game-tying home run in the 9th, and then Manny Machado with the walk-off in the 10th. So those two teams would split the 4-game series 2 apiece. Padres 24-16 after that. Cardinals 23-17. So 2 pretty good teams in the National League over there. Meanwhile, the Tigers would win 6-3 over the Royals, avoiding the sweep there and getting right at, or ending their brief, I think, 4-game losing streak. Kenley Jansen with his 7th save on the season. Gage Workman off the bench hit his first major league home run, 2-run home run for Detroit, just because I saw that in a little recap. So that's good for him. And that actually does it for Sunday. So Monday, the Orioles would win 3-2 over the Yankees to start a series between those two teams. This was a Kobe Mayo 3-run home run that gave the Orioles the lead and eventually the victory there. 3 runs on 3 hits, by the way. Dietrich Enns got his first win. Anthony Nunez, his 2nd save. Rico Garcia actually was in the game. He was on in the 8th inning because it was Ben Rice, Aaron Judge, and Cody Bellinger was the order due up there. So, get the best reliever in baseball on to face the the best part of the lineup for the Yankees makes sense there. But that was fun to watch. The Kobe Mayo 3-run home run was very, very fun to watch. So unfortunately, they could not get it today. Again, technically it was yesterday, but I'm still thinking it's Tuesday in my mind. Meanwhile, the Guardians would win 7-2 over the Angels. And the start of a series between these two teams, start of a lot of series actually. So the Guardians back up above 500 after that one. Meanwhile, the Rays and the Blue Jays would play, start another series between these two AL East rivals. The Rays going 3 games, the 3-game series against the Blue Jays, Red Sox, and then Blue Jays against. It's all AL East for the Tampa Bay at the moment. They would win 8-5 here with 12 hits. Drew Rasmussen got a win there. Brian Baker, his 11th save. Not too many games on Monday either, just because there are a lot of off days for teams. The Diamondbacks would win 1-0 over the Rangers. Michael Soroka pitched a really good performance, 6 1/3 scoreless. Geraldo Perdomo with the, was a game winning actually. RBI. It was a RBI double was the only thing Arizona needed. Paul Sewald got the save there. So the D-backs got back to 500 after that. The Mariners, meanwhile, would win 3-1 over their division rival Astros. George Kirby got his 5th win of the season. Andres Munoz, his 8th save. Astros had 1 run on 9 hits. Ooh, that's rough. Then finally, the Giants would win 9-2 over the Dodgers, since the Giants just seem to kind of have the Dodgers number as of late. They won 2 or 3 the first time they met this season. Won 9-3 there, and they are up 6-2 as well in the bottom of the 9th against LA at the moment. So the Giants not had a good season as a whole for 2026, but against the Dodgers, they just seem to play them well. Matt Gage got his 3rd win. Dodgers also 3 runs on 10 hits. That's pretty rough, but yeah, wow, interesting. I didn't realize the Giants had won that one, and they're winning tonight. All right, so on to Tuesday. Yankees would win this one 6-2. Trevor Rogers was back from the injured list and looked to be pitching the exact same as he was his past couple starts, in the sense that it was not great. Just really struggling with getting the 3rd out of the inning, especially on 2 strikes. Gave up a first pitch home run of the game to Paul Goldschmidt. Then in the 3rd inning, he had 2 outs, and then gave up, I think, like a walk, a single, and then a 3-run home run to I think it was Trent Grisham. And that was after already giving up 2 runs earlier in that inning. So he gave up a 5-run. I hate it. And then this also had, that was top of 3rd inning, bottom 3rd inning. Orioles got bases loaded, no outs after a couple of errors on the infield by the Yankees. Had Rutschman, I think it was Ward, Rutschman, and Alonso up to bat. And of course, none of them could get anyone home. So the Orioles lost that one 6-2. So that series is tied at the moment. The Phillies, meanwhile, would start a series against the Red Sox, winning 2-1 here. Zach Wheeler got his 2nd win of the season after he was back from, I think he started out the season on the injured list. So he's only pitched 3 starts this season. The team has won all 3 of them. The first one went to extras. The second 2 were his decision wins. He had a really good performance here. Johan Duran got his 6th save of the season for the Phillies. Giants and Dodgers are playing at the moment. Giants up 6-2 in the bottom of the 9th. Shohei Ohtani's actually up to bat. There's 2 outs as well. Hang on, let me actually do a quick play-by-play here. Let me go to the Gamecast. So yeah, it is bottom of the 9th, 2 outs, nobody on for Shohei Ohtani, batting left against Ohtani just grounded out is what happened on the 4th pitch on a fastball. So yeah, the Giants, Caleb Killian with the winning pitching effort there. I don't know if he's going to score the win, but he was pitching there in the bottom of the 9th for San Francisco. So they win 6-2 over the Dodgers, winning 2 straight over them. Rafael Devers 1 for 4, 3 strikeouts. They're saying do up for the Giants, but I don't think they need to be due up. The Giants have won. Anyway, The Guardians, meanwhile, would win 3-2 over the Angels. Is that Hunter Gaddis? I think that's his first name, right? Yeah, Hunter Gaddis got his first win of the season. There for Cleveland. Cade Smith, his 12th save for Cleveland there as they take the first two against Anaheim. The Pirates, meanwhile, would win 3-1 over the Rockies. Michael Lorenzen, his 5th loss of the season. Gregory Soto, his 4th save. Paul Skeens, his 6th win. Yeah, he had an absurdly good performance in this one. Let me actually check his full stats here because I want to see. So he went... Hang on, it's not saying... Can stats... It's not saying his late. All right, let me just go to the box score. That's probably easier. If I go to the box score of this game, it'll tell me what Paul Skeens did in this one. So yeah, Skeens, 8 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 10 strikeouts. So yeah, that was pretty good. It's pretty nice when you can just transition straight from your ace starting pitcher to your closer. Yeah, that's pretty good. Not gonna lie. I guess the Rockies got 1 hit off of, or 1 run off of Soto. But yeah, jeez, 8 runs, 10 strikeouts, 2 hits, no walks, no runs either. That is ridiculous. Anyway, the Nats would win 10-4 over the Reds. Brady Singer, his 3rd loss of the season. This is the start of a series between these two teams. Something Lord. What is your first name? Brad Lord, his 2nd win of the season. Reds had 10 hits, but only 4 runs there. Nats 13 hits, 10 runs. So that's actually one of the best offenses in baseball right now. It's their pitching that has really let them down. I know that. The Rays, meanwhile, would win 7-6 over the Blue Jays. Is that Ian Seymour, I think is your first name, right? Yeah, Ian Seymour, his 2nd win. Not a save for Brian Baker because I think he was just wasn't available. Garrett Clevenger got his first save of the season for Tampa Bay as they win 2 straight over the Blue Jays in that series and 5 straight in a row against Toronto this season. The Mets, meanwhile, would win 10-2 over the Tigers to start that series. Jack Flaherty 0-4 now on the season. Freddie Peralta got his 3rd win. He's 3-3. So the Mets doing a little better as of late. Obviously a lot better than they were a couple weeks ago. Still not great, but better, so to speak. Tigers also not having a great time at the moment. The Braves, meanwhile, would start a series against the Cubs in a really fun look there between 2 of the best teams in baseball. Braves would win this one 5-2. Colin Ray got his 2nd loss of the season. Raisel Iglesias his 7th save. We got something Fuentes, Dieter Fuentes, or Dieter. I'll go with Dieter. He's 2-0 now after that one. Meanwhile, the White Sox would win 6-5 over their division rival in the Royals. Sir Anthony Dominguez, his 3rd win on the season. He's 3-3 in the start of that series there. Is this Matt Stram, I think is your first name? Yeah, Matt Stram got hit with a loss for KC. They had 11 hits, but only 5 runs. White Sox, 7 hits, 6 runs. The Twins, meanwhile, would shut out the Marlins. I knew I should have stuck with Bailey Obert. Dang it. Hang on. What was his pitching line? I had him and then I dropped him because anyway, he went 9 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 7. So complete game shutout for Bailey Ober. And I dropped him because Trevor Rogers was back off the IL and Rogers had, I think, like negative 10 points. That sucks. I mean, I'm winning in fantasy right now because I have Paul Skeens. Like that helps a lot. I also have Shane McClanahan and who else pitched today for me? But that actually hurts my soul a little bit. I also had Shane McClanahan also pitched today. He had 20 points. Paul Skeens 34 points. So 54 points between those two. But Bailey Over had how many points did he have? Hang on a minute. One moment. Where are you in here? Ober had. Let me just search him up. Actually, how many points did you have, Bailey? You had 34 points. That could have been, I think, a 38-point swing for me, or 36-point swing. Hang on. Can I do math in my head? It's 34 points plus 34 minus. Anyway, yeah, I think 44 point swing there, I think. 42 maybe. I don't know. It's a lot. Could have had a lot more if I had stuck with Ober and not brought back Rogers. That hurts. Anyway, I mean, I'm still up by like 50 points at the moment, but still. Anyway, back to the scoreboard. Brewers won 6-4 over the Padres here. I just checked, looked at the audio in this sound recording to see a solid black bar peeking the mic from my scream of anguish. Sorry. I'm getting tired, so I'm just laughing at everything. Brandon Sproat got his first win for the Brewers there. They're 23-16 as they started out a series between those two black and yellow NL teams. Meanwhile, the Rangers would win 7-4 over the Diamondbacks. Mackenzie Gore got his third win of the season. Zach Gallen his fourth loss, as the Rangers are trying to claw their way back to 500. Diamondbacks fall just under 500 there. The Mariners, meanwhile, would win 10-2 over the Astros. Tatsuya Imai, who's back from the injured list, got hit with a loss there. His first loss in the season, though he's overall had a not a great stretch at the moment. Brian Wu, his third win, as the Mariners take 2 straight over the Astros. The Cardinals, meanwhile, would win 6-4 over the Athletics. Riley O'Brien got his 12th save in the start of the series between those two teams. Then finally, I don't need to say finally, is the Giants and Dodgers game got bumped down there to the end because it was over on the West Coast. So that's actually a loss for Yoshinobu Yamamoto there. He's 3-3 on the season. So I'll go to the standings now that we're done with that. Since again, I kind of sped through that. I mean, a decent pace, felt like. Division-wise, the Rays currently lead the AL East at 28-13. The Yankees are 2 games back at 27-16. O's 10 games back at 19-24. Blue Jays 10.5 back at 18-24. Red Sox 11 back at 17-24. The AL Central is currently led by the 23-21 Cleveland Guardians. 1.5 games back are the Chicago White Sox, surprisingly enough, at 20-21. Then all 3 teams left, the Twins, Tigers, and Royals, are 3 games back since they are all at 19-23. Over in the AL West, it is the Athletics leading the division at 21-20. 1 game back, it is the Mariners at 21-22. So they just have 2 more losses than the Athletics at the moment. They're also the only team in that division with a positive run differential. The Rangers, meanwhile, are 1.5 games back because they're 20-22. Then the Astros and Angels are both 16-27, so they are 6 games back of the Athletics. Over in the National League, the NL East is being comfortably led by the Braves at 29-13. The next closest are both the Phillies and the Nationals at 20-22. They are 9 games back. The Marlins are 10 games back at 19-23. Then the Mets are 12.5 back at 16-25. Over in the, again, really good NL Central, the Cubs lead that division at 27-15. 2.5 games back are the Brewers at 23-16. Also 2.5 games back are the Cardinals at 24-17, so they've just played more games than the Brewers. 4 games back, the Pirates are at 23-19. Then 5 games back, the Reds are 22-20. And fun fact, they would be leading the AL West and be just behind the Guardians in the AL Central at the moment. And they are, again, last in their division. So that just kind of shows how it goes between the American and National League at the moment. Then the NLS, to wrap it up, the Padres and the Dodgers are actually tied at the moment, and I want to say the standings are up to date. Let me just make sure they are. So not quite up to date, actually. I think the Dodgers should be a game back a little bit further now, so the standings haven't quite fully updated as to today. But going into, I think, some of the games today at least, the Padres and Dodgers were tied at 24-17. The Dodgers are now 24-18 at this point. Let me see. Is this including the Padres' latest win? I think it is. Yeah, so it just hasn't. The Dodgers' loss to the Giants hasn't quite kicked in yet. So the Diamondbacks, meanwhile, are 4 games back at 20-21. The Giants are at this point, well, at that point, 7 games back at 17-24, though they should be, I think, 6.5 back at 18-24 after their win over the Dodgers, who should be a half game back at 24-18. Then finally, the Rockies are 8.5 back at 16-26 down there at the bottom. Stat-wise, just to wrap it up with that real quick, Brandon Marsh for the Philadelphia Phillies leads the league, leads all of baseball in batting average at 350. Shea Langeliers for the Athletics, right behind him at 340. Otto Lopez for the Marlins in third with 337. Ildemaro Vargas for the Diamondbacks at 336. And Troy Johnson for the Rockies at 328 are the top 5 in batting average. Home runs, it is Kyle Schwarber for the Phillies at 17. Aaron Judge for the Yankees at 16. Munetaka Murakami for the White Sox at 15. Matt Olson for the Braves at 14. And then Byron Buxton for the Twins at 13. RBIs, it is Matt Olson at 37. CJ Abrams for the Nationals at 36. Andy Pajes for the Dodgers at 35. Liam Hicks for the Marlins also at 35. Both those guys I have on my fantasy team, so I love that. And then Jonathan Aranda for the Rays at 33. Hits, it is Otto Lopez with 55. Shea Langeliers 52. Bobby Witt Jr. for the Royals at 51. Drake Baldwin for the Braves at 50. And then Ozzie Albies for the Braves at 49. Stolen bases, it is Nasim Nunez for the Nats at 17. Jose Ramirez for the Guardians at 16. O'Neal Cruz for the Pirates at 15. Chandler Simpson for the Rays at 14. And then Jose Caballero, who has just gone on the injured list with a fractured middle finger, I believe, is at 13 stolen bases. Over on the pitching side, just from the initial ones given off, I'll go into a couple other things in a sec. But pitching side wins, it is Aaron Ashby for the Brewers at 7. Then Jose Soriano for the Angels, Paul Skeens for the Pirates, and then Chris Sale for the Braves all have 6. And then at least listed, it is George Kirby for the Mariners at 5 wins. Let me see who else has 5 wins, because there should be a lot. Yes, there is. Michael Soroka for the Diamondbacks, Davis Martin for the White Sox, Gavin Williams for the Guardians, Landon Rupp for the Giants, Jacob Robleski for the Dodgers, Max Fried and Cam Schlittler and Will Warren for the Yankees, all at 5 wins apiece. Come on, ESPN. Thank you. ERA leaders, it is, and I think this is just for starters, Cam Schlittler for the Yankees leads baseball with a 1.35 ERA. Davis Martin at a 1.62 ERA. Jose Soriano at a 1.66 ERA. Nick Martinez for the Rays at a 1.70 ERA. And then Bryce Elder for the Braves at a 1.81 ERA. Saves, it is Riley O'Brien for the Cardinals, Cade Smith for the Guardians, and Mason Miller for the Padres at 12. Brian Baker for the Rays at 11, and then Lucas Ursag at 10 for the Royals, and then also David Bednar for the Yankees at 10 as well. Next up, it is strikeouts. It is Jacob Mizorowski for the Brewers at 70. Christopher Sanchez for the Phillies at 67. Dylan Cease for the Blue Jays and Gavin Williams for the Guardians, both at 66. And then Jose Soriano for the Angels at 61. Then finally for the initial stats, or for the ones that ESPN just lists under stats, not for like complete leaders and all that. Quality starts, it is Chris Sale with 7. Michael Wacha for the Royals at 6. Actually, a lot of guys at 6. Max Fried for the Yankees, Mitch Keller for the Pirates, Sandy Alcantara for the Marlins, all at 6 as well. There's actually even more at 6. Shohei Ohtani for the Dodgers, Christopher Sanchez, Davis Martin, Bryce Elder, and then Brian Wu for the Mariners, and also Yoshinobu Yamamoto for the Dodgers as well. They all have 6 quality starts. So quick peek into some other stats. So the league leader so I did batting average. That was Brandon Marsh. League leader in doubles should be, actually now it is Matt Olson. Taylor Ward is second for the Orioles with 14. Matt Olson for the Braves, 15. Ernie Clement and Riley Green for the Blue Jays and Tigers. They both have 13. Triples leader, is it still Corbin Carroll? It is still, in fact, Corbin Carroll, still with 4. Cody Bellinger has 3 for the Yankees. Geraldo Perdomo, also for the Diamondbacks, like his teammate and Corbin Carroll, has 3 as well. Chandler Simpson for the Rays, also with 3 there. Let's see. Walks leader, this is Taylor Ward at 41 for the Orioles. Mike Trout is actually second at 39, tied with Nick Kurtz, and a couple AL West guys. Trout for the Angels, Kurtz for the Athletics. They both have 39. James Wood for the Nats at 36 walks. Strikeout leaders, it is Munetaka Murakami leading the league for the White Sox with 63. O'Neal Cruz one behind him at 62. Actually tied with Zach Neto with the Angels at 62, and tied with James Wood with 62 as well. So Wood leads the league, or up there in walks, not leads the league, but he's 4th in total walks, and also, tied second, but 4th listed for total strikeouts as well. Total WAR leader, it is Bobby Witt Jr. leading all batters in WAR at 2.8. Andy Pages second at 2.7. Pitching wise, WHIP, it is Michael Lorenzen for the Rockies with 1.84 WHIP, which I guess isn't great. I think that's just amongst starters or something. Paul Skeens has a 0.64 WHIP. He's the lowest from the looks of it. WAR leaders, it is Jose Soriano and Davis Martin at 2.7. Christopher Sanchez, 2.5. Schlittler, 2.4. Most home runs given up by a pitcher, it is Zach Littell for the Nationals with 14. Jamison Taillon, Eric Lauer, and Brady Singer with 11. Most walks issued, it is Luis Severino for the Athletics and Jack Flaherty for the Tigers, both at 29. Most innings pitched, it is Max Fried still for the Yankees at 58.2. Sandy Alcantara right behind him at 57.2. George Kirby at 57 flat. And most losses on the season, a lot of guys at 5. Michael Lorenzen, Chris Paddock, Eric Lauer, Simeon Woods Richardson, and Kyle Bradish and Tanner Bybee. And also Yuri Perez. They all have 5 losses at the moment. Let's see. Quick peek into fielding. And yeah, I would have to go through position by that. I'm just going to check errors, actually. So errors for catchers, it is Nick Fortes with 4 for the Rays for most errors there. Most errors for first baseman, it is Jake Bowers for the Brewers, Jake Berger for the Rangers, and Jonathan Aranda for the Rays, all with 4 errors apiece. Second baseman errors, it is Jeremiah Jackson for the Orioles with 5. Third baseman errors, it is Junior Caminero for the Rays with 7. Shortstop errors, it is Otto Lopez for the Marlins and CJ Abrams for the Nationals with 7 as well. Left fielder errors, it is Mike Yastrzemski for the Braves with 2. Center fielder errors, it is Trent Grisham for the Yankees, Cedric Mullins for the Rays, Julio Rodriguez for the for the Mariners, and then Kyle Isbell for the Royals, all with 2. Then right fielder errors, it is Cam Smith for the Astros with 4. That's a lot of errors for an outfielder. And then finally, as a pitcher, Kevin Gausman for the Blue Jays and also Dylan Cease for the Blue Jays. So 2 Blue Jays pitchers both lead baseball with 2 errors apiece. It should be, I feel like this is not updated kind of recently, since Chris Bassett should have an error charge to him and it's just not showing up. But anyway, that's it, honestly. That'll do it for this little episode right here. Got done, honestly, kind of around my usual time in terms of like the duration of it, but yeah, it is what it is. So yeah. Upcoming stuff, as always, Final Fantasy VII. That is my game of choice for Thursday. I'm adjusting the audio level, so the game should not be a lot louder than my voice. So yeah, I realized that the audio was a bit too loud, so that should be better there. Then Friday will be Orioles and Nationals. streamed on my YouTube channel. It is Henry the Host. It is all one word. Please feel free to subscribe there. You can listen to this podcast as it gets posted there. And then Saturday, I will try and think of something, probably Mall Shadow Lord, actually try and do that episode, but I will try and have an episode out on Saturday. I will try not to forget it. But anyway, that will do it for this one, though. Thank you very much for listening.